analogy. Remember, like, did you see Captain Marvel?
Of course.
Okay, so Captain Marvel, they made Samuel L. Jackson look like he was young. All right, so they went from
I didn't see
old Samuel L. Jackson, which, here's the thing, Samuel L. Jackson can still run. Like, if you ask Samuel L. Jackson to run real quick, he can still run. He can get a little run on.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro,
You're hilarious.
Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, they can't get a jog on. Yeah. Like, they can't get it going. So there are certain scenes where I'm like, yeah, they made you look 40, but you still moving like a 65-year-old.
That's terrible.
So he's like.
Okay, what about Sylvester Stallone?
Oh, Sylvester Stallone.
In that last
but Sylvester Stallone
Rambo.
Sylvester Stallone could still.
Sylvester Stallone could beat both of us up still
That's what I'm
to
saying.
this day.
He's wait. I could fight Sylvester.
Fair enough.
I could fight him. I feel like I could get out. I'm not saying I could fight Michael B. Jordan or something like that. I could fight Sylvester Stallone. Like, all I got to do is just wind him out for a little bit, and that's it. Like, I could tackle him. Like, I feel like Sylvester Stallone is fragile.
So you can get all of us.
It makes sense.
Like he
might have muscles, but he don't have muscles that are like functioning muscles.
He's got bones.
Yeah, I understand. He has glamour muscles.
Oh,
like
here. Let me see that real quick.
I'm like,
we have
really trying to.
Like, why are you doing all of this stuff?
This is what I always do, but it's like all me.
We have a guest with us.
I can't even see the timer now.
We're gonna introduce her. Don't worry, I got the timer.
Oh, you can see it?
We're gonna introduce her in a second. Yeah. But she has her mother here, and the mom's getting everything placed.
And that's perfect.
So there we go.
What'd you wave at? What did you wave at?
She waved
her mom just waved. Her mom just waved at the camera that is not on her. But it's okay. It's okay. So
I like your mama. So that's there.
It's all right. It's all right. We're good.
We're
good.
That's
We're
good. The day is good.
Yes.
I'm sick, and my future is looking bleak.
He has
maybe
sunglasses
even
on.
Black and ugly as ever. However, I stay
God.
Houston down to my socks. I got on socks. I got on a sweater under this hoodie
and a hoodie. That's why the light
sweat,
a little light sweat, and the shades. Yeah. That's all right. Avery's feeling a little. Sorry. Carlton Banks.
Whatever. You know my name.
Avery, like a very nice
Avery,
guy.
like a very nice guy, a.k.a. Carlton Banks. Carlton with a K, B-A-N, triple X. Carlton with a K, B-A-N, triple X. And we also have the co-host over here, Jess Devon, best writer from the Houston Press that I've ever met in my entire life. That's why can't you let me? Why can't you let me love you and be proud of you? Why can't you let me be?
I can't say I'm the best. You can say I'm the best.
There you go. So you have to.
I have to be
sit
humble
down.
and I have to say like, hey,
be humble.
You know.
You have
it's like
to do
when
it
rappers
like
be like, I'm the best.
Sit down.
You can't do that. Remember when the Game said he was the best in the West and people was like,
T.I. said he was the best.
Did we believe it?
At that time, it was 2003. He said he was the king of the South, and he had to go up against.
Look at T.I. now.
Fudge it. He had to go up against Lil Flip, and Lil Flip at the time was not. Yeah, let's be honest. It was not complicated. It was an ABC rap. He said,
Lil Flip, if you want to come on the show, please come on the show.
I treat you like milk. I do nothing but spoil you.
But you liked Lil Flip's last album.
I will say we're still fair. We didn't like old Lil Flip, but he was the one that shouted out. I shoot out Lil Flip. I've listened to the last 3 albums.
Yeah,
I pay attention to everything.
He will tell me, he's like, "Yo, Lil Flip still got heat coming." I was like, "No, he doesn't."
He
does.
Then
he had me listen to it. I was like, "Oh,
look, you heard the song with Slim Thug and Lil Flip floating."
Yep,
man,
he does a good job.
He does a good job.
So Lil Flip, if you want to come on, my bad. Not my bad. His bad for taking
it's my
the slug.
bad.
You know, he didn't like.
I wasn't taking a slug. I was
didn't
just
like your old stuff.
Saying my opinion.
Okay, it is my humble
opinion. And since we're talking about opinions, we do have a guest here.
She has opinions.
She has opinions.
Has a
good
whole
opinions.
Platform of opinions.
Yes, opinions that can change our entire life.
Yes,
possibly.
Possibly.
That's what we're about to find out.
There we go.
All right, here we go.
How you doing?
Good. I'm doing great.
And what's your name, Audia?
Well, there you go. It is.
What's your name?
Audia. I wouldn't expect anything different from your brother.
Audia.
You met me like once at a Christmas party.
But I've known Devon for
50 years.
Yeah. It feels like forever.
I like when I met you at the party, you had your name tag and it sparkled, and I go, okay, that's branding.
Did it say it said Audia?
It said Audia. That's why I know it.
Huge
Yes,
tag.
it was huge.
I need people to know.
It wasn't a name tag. It was like a folder on your.
But you have a
No, it's
distinctive
not a
name.
folder.
You have
I
a
do.
distinctive
I
name
do.
like I have a distinctive
Yes.
name, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, first off, where does the name? What your mom is
Yeah,
here.
your mom
She's
is here.
here.
Your
She
mom is here.
Yeah.
So
You can ask the source.
no. Well, if we ask the source, she'd have to come over
Yeah,
here.
she has to
Right,
go on
no,
the mic.
no,
and have
that's
on the
okay,
mic.
I'll explain
So where does the
Yeah.
name Audia come from?
Oh, I know it was her best friend in college. And then she said whenever she had a daughter that she would name the daughter Audia. And I was the only daughter that was born. So lucky me, I got it. I got the name.
Oh,
Okay.
She kept it up. She kept it
so
real.
You
Yeah.
kept the promise.
yeah.
You know how many people have promised me they're gonna name their kid after it never
real.
happens.
Never
man. You know, that's
happens.
just something you just say.
I've
so I'm
had
like,
people say that and they actually name their kids Audia. So
Really?
there are like 2 other Audias I know that are younger than me. And they'll call
Really?
me and I call them and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Audia. And Audia is running for.
Harris County District Attorney.
Okay.
Wow,
Harris
that's
County
what's
Yes,
up.
District
yes,
Attorney.
yes.
So normally we've had some authors, we've had
Mm-hmm.
some lawyers, we've had some singers, we had some rappers, we've
Yes.
had videographers,
Yes.
things like that. So this is new. This
It
is
is.
a political aspect
Yeah.
here. So we're going to ask a few questions. I mean, one,
Mm-hmm.
we want to make sure our listeners know exactly what the prosecutor does, because
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people do. And how you can actually affect them. And we're going to go into like why you're deciding to run for prosecutor and a couple other things. But first, we're going to
Yeah.
back up like Audia, because all of our guests come from Houston so far.
Awesome.
So
Or Tyler, or Texas related.
Mm-hmm.
But you from out. So tell us where you from, and then what brought you to Texas,
Yeah.
and let's go from there.
So originally I was born and raised in Connecticut.
Connecticut.
I know, Connecticut.
Wow.
Connecticut.
I-
Okay.
I-
Okay. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with Connecticut.
Nothing
And
wrong
I
with
All right.
and it was a great childhood. My father was in the military, so that brought them there. My mother was a school teacher, a public school teacher, for about 35 years, and so born and raised. Ended up being very good at basketball.
Okay. Okay.
What
and
position did you play?
Shooting guard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You look like you.
I
play
played a
basketball.
shooting guard, yeah.
You still play?
Every now and then, we actually played on Christmas Day.
She's saying
we
she
took
can
my
wash
niece out
you.
there. Yeah,
Everybody
give
can
you-
watch me.
I can give you the business.
I'm
Yeah,
from
yes,
Sugarland.
yes.
I have no basketball. like-
Whoa,
Hey,
whoa,
it
whoa!
doesn't
There's a
matter where
kid.
you're
There's a
from.
kid out there. Goes. She's from Connecticut.
Yeah, well, UConn.
Connecticut is I'm about to
UConn.
say
They're like
UConn,
a breeding
the
ground.
East
She-
Coast,
She
For it.
immediately threw out UConn.
I had to.
but the
UConn.
East Coast has nothing else going on for
Oh my
but
God,
basketball.
That's not
Whoa,
true.
that's
Wow.
not true.
Now I love Houston, so I'm not even going to be.
We're a
that mad at
football
you.
state because there's a lot of
Yes.
land.
Yes.
Okay.
Connecticut
Okay.
is
True.
I
that
can see
big.
that. I can
We're
see
about
that.
to be a soccer state too,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of land. But
That is true.
continue.
But anyway, so ended up coming out here to law school, which I was very happy about. Is got into Texas Southern University. I always wanted to go to HBCU,
Yay.
so it was either here or go back to Connecticut. Was not going to do that.
Okay,
So
okay.
applied, got into Texas Southern University. Favorite school, hands down. We have to thank them for a lot.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, we actually were in the same class.
Oh, yeah?
There are
Yeah.
aspects of TSU that I
good.
really, really enjoy. There are
Yeah.
some that I don't.
There
but
were
I
some
mean,
that we don't,
Every
but-
school got their problems, but I
Yes.
love TSU.
Yes, yes.
TSU is a great school.
Yes, they
better
actually
than PV.
have-
No, I just want to strike up conversation. Go ahead.
Look,
Nah,
they have the
yeah.
most.
I went
They
to
graduate the most
PV
minority lawyers in the state of
That is
Texas.
true.
So
That is
we
true.
definitely
Y'all
have
do?
to give.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Texas Southern University, Thurgood Marshall School of Law. So ended up doing really well with criminal justice. Was Judge Walker's tutor.
Oh, okay.
Judge Walker's
okay.
tutor. I was a
Okay.
tutor for criminal law for the first, 2 years? Never really thought much of it. I thought I'd end up being like a sports agent or something because at that time I was done with basketball. But anyways, long story short, I came to Houston, fell in love when I went to law school. Good people, good energy, great food, great weather.
Yes.
Left and went back to D.C., ended up working on Capitol Hill for a Texas representative, and then again made my way back out to Houston where we've made it home, and we're not going anywhere. So
So,
a
why,
lot.
so when you went back to DC, what was the goal when you went back to DC? Who were you working for as the representative? and everything?
Yeah, so I was working for a very well-known congressional representative of the 18th Congressional District.
Okay.
Yes, Congresswoman, last name Lee.
Yep.
Yes.
First name
Sheila Jackson.
Yes.
Sheila Jackson.
Yes, yes,
okay.
yes. So I worked for her, and I handled the House Judiciary Committee portfolio. And,
okay.
Yep. So, got to meet a lot of interesting people, do a lot of work on different legislation, dealing with criminal justice reform. But even at that point, I wasn't really practicing law and didn't understand how backwards our system really was.
So, yeah, you were up there doing, because Sheila is involved in criminal justice reform. So you're up there involved in starting to get involved into the criminal justice reform. Okay. So, but you're still not
on a national level.
Yeah, that's on a national level.
Yeah.
But you're still not like, okay, let me jump into.
Yeah, I still wasn't in the trenches.
Okay.
That's what I'll call it, in the trenches when I came
Okay.
back. So did that and ended up moving back to Houston, where of course I married our other classmate and my best friend, Audia Jones.
Okay.
And did that. So
Judge Jones.
Yeah, yep, Judge Jones now. And so, once we did that, something came up and I applied for the prosecutor's office. I didn't think I would ever get a call for the interview, but I did.
Okay.
And it's one of those things where we have so many people that look like us, that look like you and me, and minorities, especially black men, a lot of black women that are caught up in the system. And I come from a big family, so I have family members that are no stranger to the criminal justice system.
Okay.
On the wrong side. So what I will say is that I didn't take it serious. I went in for the interview and was kind of like, if I get it, I probably won't go. But I got called, went in for the interview, and about a couple hours later, they offered me the position.
Oh, dope.
So and at that point, I really did not understand what it was I was about to see. I had read the book, The New Jim Crow, while I was in D.C.
Okay.
So it gave me a good foundation for not even that the system's broken. The system's working the way it's designed to work.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So something that's broken is not going to continue to travel miles and miles and miles, but we have a criminal justice system that has continuously for decades pretty much enslaved people who have fallen victim to it, or who have done something, right, committed some kind of offense, and now they're paying the price for the rest of their life. So.
Now, when you first got there, I guess what was the most surprising thing when you first got to the prosecutor's office that you were seeing? Or I guess the thing that you were just kind of like, okay, this is not what I was expecting.
Yeah. They put me in trial the first day.
Really?
Like day number one.
Okay.
Day number one. And when I say day number one, keep in mind, they didn't ask me if I had ever practiced before. They didn't ask me if I had ever tried any cases. I had not gotten any type of training. I didn't get any type of guidance. Nothing. So you have a chief in the court. I was the misdemeanor 3. And at that time, the first case that I had was a driving while intoxicated, where someone's facing up to a year in jail and up to a $4,000 fine.
Okay.
So you're given this huge responsibility in there with no guidance. So essentially that kind of caught me off guard. But what they don't know is, I like to be prepared. So I'd actually come in 2 weeks before and actually watched a full trial.
Oh, okay.
So I was able to kind of at least fake my way through.
Yeah.
And the attorney, took a 100-day plea for the guy that was facing a driving while intoxicated case. And later on, I learned most people only take 2 or 3 days, maybe at the maximum 10 days. But because I looked like I was prepared and that defense attorney didn't want to move forward, she really subjected her guy to a significant amount of time, which was unheard of almost.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I guess that's one of the other things too that people now prosecution, and this is where you're actually you're prosecuting. This is not a defense attorney.
Correct.
This is where you're actually going against you're representing the state.
Yes.
And you're going against criminals. So why is it important that we have people on the prosecutor side? Because prosecutors tend to get a bad rep.
Right. I think what we've done in the criminal justice system, I understand why prosecutors get a bad rep. And I will say, when we look at things like the Central Park 5, when we look at things of people, the young man that came and spoke at our fundraiser that we had in November, his name is Daryl Burton, did 27 years in prison. He did 27 years in prison, in the bloodiest prison in the United States, for a crime that he never committed.
Where was this? Angola?
No, it wasn't in Angola. It was in it wasn't St. Louis. It was somewhere over near there, and I forgot it because it's a little bit further away.
Yeah.
But they actually shut it down. They shut it down, and he finished his last year and a half. They moved all of the people who were incarcerated to another prison. That's how bad it was. They finally shut it down after 24 years. Yes. So, okay. So back to your question. When we say, criminals, I think that's a very term that we use loosely because so many people are given the title of criminal if you fit into a certain stereotype. I think a big issue is we have media. We have media that likes to impose bias. And then we have people that watch television like 14 hours a day. And as a prosecutor, I remember having jurors that would come in and be like, oh, is this going to be like Law and Order?
I feel like that's what most people think.
That's what most people think.
They think it's Law and Order,
Yeah.
or they think it's,
insert every
SVU.
judge show.
Pretty much every judge show. And it's like, I feel like the public's perception, or most people's perception, because a lot of people don't have any kind of dealings with the law unless they get in trouble,
Right.
is prosecutors work to put people in jail, defense attorneys work to keep people out. But defense attorneys and prosecutors pretty much get along anyway. But the whole thing is, it's like your goal is to try to get as